So, like, I was gonna record this earlier, but I low-key got hungry, so I went to go make ramen, and now I have ramen, and I'm pretty proud of myself for my ramen because it tastes really good. But, low-key,
I burnt the water?
we're not gonna ask how I did that, but the water is officially,
Burnt?
um, so yeah, we're just gonna, I, I just wanted to do some training today, because I got a new horse. I joined a dressage team. Actually, there's a lot to update you guys on, because there's a lot that happened. And I got my ramen. Hold on. This is really hot ramen. I don't know if you guys can hear my chewing. If you can, I sincerely apologize. This is going to become a...
ASMR stream, bro.
So, what has happened in the few months I've been gone? Well, for one, I took a pretty long mental health break from a lot.
Oh my god.
It's the ramen, bro. It's the ramen. Okay. I took a really long mental health break from, like, everything to do with online. Like, I don't know. I guess I had a falling out with one of my closest friends. And so I no longer was, like, in a mental state where I really wanted to do anything. I actually, over the course of the last few months, I've lost a lot of my friends, or I've left a lot of groups, and it's weighed pretty heavily. So I haven't been as active on my social platforms. And then alongside that, I also had a lot going on in real life too. I was not in a good place at a lot of my classes. And then I was also working on getting a job, which still have not obtained yet, but hopefully in the next few months I'll have something to prove for it. I've been working heavily working on my book. Because if you didn't know, I'm writing a book. I've been heavily working on that one. So a lot of my focus has gone into that book as of recent, mainly because it's my freaking book and I love it a lot. And there's a lot I want to do for the book. Hold on, I gotta take a bite of my ramen. So I think today is just gonna be an update about my current situation in life and just ranting about the last few months, while also training on Star Stable because I like my SSO training. So what happened? Let's start from the beginning. When was the last time I posted, actually? I need to go look at this. So the last time I posted, 3 months ago. So roughly December. So for anyone who doesn't know, actually, it's probably going to be a lot of people who don't know. For my December, I had Christmas, obviously. Christmas was really fun. I spent a lot of my time with my family. We had dinners and stuff. We spent a lot of time together. Really isn't much to it. I mean, my main thing about my winter break was I went to Epic Universe with my sister, and we started a, like, YouTube channel between each other, which is completely, in real life stuff, so lots of vlogging about our trips and stuff and giving details and tips and travel tips. So that's a channel we started, and I can't exactly link it because I'm a faceless YouTuber, but it is out there somewhere. That was a really fun trip. I really liked the trip to Epic Universe, all the rides. Okay, actually, let me rephrase that. All the rides are freaking dookie, bro. I hated every single ride we went on. There was only one good ride, and that was the Hiccups Hang Gliders, or whatever it's called. That was a phenomenal ride, actually. It's one of my top 5 rides, and I love roller coasters. It's definitely a kiddie ride, though. So if you're not, like, a major fan of kiddie rides, it might not be the coaster for you, but... Sorry, I took a bite of my ramen. But if it isn't a coaster for you, that's your own thing. And a lot of people are probably going to argue on this and be like, oh, Stardust Racers is the best roller coaster at Epic Universe. And I'm going to have a confident no. And there's a few reasons I'm going to say it wasn't. And the main one being I have severe motion sickness, and that ride made me almost freaking
Die?
So I like, okay, to start us off, we got early park entry because we were staying at Helios Hotel. So we got early park entry. We had our special park access point. We walked into the park. First ride we went on, Curse of the Werewolf. Out of the way. Easy, was legit a walk-on. And then we got on Monsters Unchained. Again, a walk-on ride. Those rides were pretty cool. I mean, they weren't like anything special. They just seemed like basic rides, so that was nice. By this point, we were just exploring around, and then we saw that Stardust Racers was open. It had a 15-minute wait, so we went over around, like, I think it was 9:50, and the park opens at 10. But as we were walking into the line for Stardust Racers,
They dropped the freaking rope?
10 minutes early, so we have a flood of people coming in, like, rushing us, and it was horrifying, bro. It looked like Black Friday. Like, there was so many people, and I legit was getting
Shoved and pushed?
and I got separated from my sister at some point. It was really scary. Like, we legit thought we were going to die. So that was already starting Stardust Racers off on a really bad foot with us. And then we rode I think it was the green one, because we heard that one was most, like, thrilling. Like, it had the more Velocicoaster experience. And Velocicoaster is both me and my sister's favorite ever roller coaster, so obviously we wanted that experience. We heard Stardust Racers was in competition for Iron Quasi and Velocicoaster for top 2 coasters of all time. So we had pretty high expectations. So we get on the freaking ride, and it was just disappointing. It was not enjoyable at all. In the first 5 seconds, we are already dizzy, our heads hurt. It was fun, but for the motion sickness, I did not want to do it again. And that was saying a lot, because I love roller coasters, but I could not ride that ride multiple times in a day. So one time out of the way, we were done. We couldn't even ride the yellow one. We wanted to ride the yellow one, but we just thought, like, if the green one, which was, like, I don't know, I don't know what the thought process was, but we were not looking forward to riding the other ones, so we didn't ride it during our whole trip there. And I think it was like a 3 to 4 day trip. So that was saying a lot. We also got front row on every single ride we went on, and we rode every ride. So our first time on every ride was front row. So we rode Stardust Racers front row, and our heads hurt. So that was saying a lot about the coaster, in my opinion. We were not very happy with that. And then it turned into the next day. Probably not the next day. Probably got my time all wrong. I don't really know what our pacing was. We had the power-up bands, though, so we were running around freaking Nintendo World for hours doing all the special power-up stuff. It was actually so fun. But the teams reset every day, so we weren't the happiest with that. Or was it every hour? It might have been every hour where the teams reset. And once we realized the teams were resetting, we got a little upset, so we stopped messing around with it. We did unlock everything. We did Bowser's Challenge and all that, so that was a fun experience. And then we rode Minecart Madness. We rode Mario Kart. Also pretty rides. Hiccups hang gliders we rode over 6 times. We started legit posing in the front and just taking photos. Because, again, we got front row on every single ride. Like, we could have asked to go somewhere else. It was getting that crazy. I think there was only one time we got, like, in the middle row of Hiccups hang gliders. And that was, like, just because we've ridden it, like, 100 times. And we finally got somewhere else. So it really wasn't anything that special. So yeah, that was my Christmas trip, so that was pretty cool. And then January, nothing really happened in January that I can remember. I mean, this trip was in January, like the beginning of January. I started back at school. School was pretty alright. Yeah, January is pretty uneventful. February, I tried joining Minecraft servers and getting into the Minecraft PvP community. I made some pretty alright friends that I was relatively close to at some point, and they did not stick. People in the Minecraft community are relatively toxic, and I got that firsthand experience of that, and it was kind of rough. And during this time, I was also having a lot of drama with my personal friend group, so there was a lot of falling out, and it was just rough. And this was about the time, like, my school had major issues. I'm not gonna share them online, but I didn't really feel like I should be required to do anything during this time period because there was a lot going on in my life. So, putting all that in regard, I need ramen. So yeah, taking all of that into consideration, it was just a rough February. And then going into March was again incredibly rough for me. So March, actually it's still March by the time I'm recording this. It's March 31st. So it's basically over and done with at this point. But I low-key gave up on a lot of my classes, and that ended up reflecting very, very badly on my grades. And now I am in a very rough place in school. I'm still going to pass my grade, and I'm still going to have a relatively high GPA. It's still going to be above a 3.2. But it was definitely not my best year. So I have to worry about it in the fourth quarter about fixing all my grades up, which should hopefully not be too hard. I'm pretty good at my academics. I just was letting myself go because there was a lot going on. And then during March, what else happened during March? I was still on my long break, so I didn't really attend anything regarding my club. So I don't know anything that's updating about my club. We still are working on our routine, so that's definitely something to look forward to. I do not know how long it's going to take for it to come out. It's almost in, like, the final stages where we can start, sharing stuff, I guess. I'm not gonna share much because I don't know how much I'm allowed to share without getting in trouble. But the routine is looking actually incredible last I checked. It's almost fully choreographed. We're all learning it pretty relatively regularly. And that's pretty nice. During March. What else happened during March? Well, I guess, so in my ROTC unit, I became a Chief Petty Officer, which is an E7, so that's a pretty cool milestone for me. I had to go to a week-long training, after school for, like, athletics and academic stuff to prove I was responsible. I did get chosen to be my Chief Week platoon commander, which was awesome, but sadly we didn't have our graduation, so that was very upsetting. We did get our ranks though, so we are officially E7s and chiefs in our unit, but we didn't have the graduation, so I didn't have the opportunity to PC in, like, that graduation scale, which was the original idea. And then we had our annual military inspection. That was really freaking scary, bro. People started coming up to me, asking me to help them with their uniforms at freaking 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, guys, I need to help myself. Like, I genuinely needed to focus on my own uniform, and I could not be focusing on other cadets. But I still had to, like, actually help other people, because that's my obligation as a freaking chief, to help people. But I was so overstimulated, bro, and then I lost a piece of my uniform, and I wasn't able to find it for, like, 5 minutes, and I was almost late to AMI, because I couldn't find my freaking uniform. It was rough. And then people kept scuffing my shoes while we were in the bleachers waiting to be let up there. It was rough. But my dad did fly all the way out from California to come see my AMI. So that was actually, like, that was a really big surprise. I started crying and I drove all the way over to him to see him because I didn't expect him to do that for me. So I kind of like melted my heart away when that happened. That was pretty nice. And then recently I've started focusing really heavily on my book series. Because I have a server for it. It's called Angelstone Academy. I could go into so much deep depth about this freaking server and my book and all of that. But I'm not going to. That's for another video where I just yap about my freaking world building and stuff. But for right now, my book, I've rewritten the first chapter because I was not happy with it. Welcome to writer's block, whatever the heck it's called, where I cannot figure out how I want to write something for the life of me, so I rewrite it 100 times. It's like drawing a sketch and then redrawing the sketch 100 times because it doesn't look right. That's what I feel whenever I have to write a chapter. So, yeah, that was rough. I have focused a lot on my world building again. So the world is getting wholly, like, revamped, and it's actually looking really great. But again, I did have a falling out with one of my friends during March. That was probably one of the roughest parts of this month, because I've had a friend for over probably 4 years now. It might be less, it might be more, I don't know. Hold on, I need ramen. I'm taking another bite, hold on. It's freaking delicious. But yeah, I knew them for like probably almost 4 years. So you can expect a falling out between us to be kind of rough. It started really chill, like, I don't know. I could rant a lot about the situation. Honestly, I might, as long as it's anonymous. So, I don't know, a few months ago, this friend started distancing themselves from our friend group, or, like, involving themselves in other friend groups. And, like, it was making a lot of us feel left out, because we had a major friend group. There's not much else I can say about that for anonymity, and I don't know how to say the word, but for anonymous reasons, I'm not going to give too many details, but I did have a friend group. One of the members began, like, distancing themselves from the friend group. I confronted them about it a few times, because I was just like, hey, I'm feeling a little left out. Is there any way we could, like, try to, like, I'm not going to say, like, include me, but if there's, like, a way we can try to make this group stop being so separated and stop, like, making plans with just individuals in the group, you try to, like, include as many other people in the group as possible, that would be great. And it was a relatively chill conversation. They apologized. They said they didn't realize they were doing it. It was easy fix. And after I confronted them, I ended up confronting them twice because it kept happening. And I kind of just stopped bothering about it because I was so, like, I was just kind of done. I noticed that, like, after I said something twice, they didn't change. So I kind of just came to the heart, or, like, the conclusion that I don't think they wanted to really be a part of our friend group anymore. A few of my other friends also reached out to them with both concern and, like, just confronting them, because everybody else noticed it as well. It's a pretty noticeable thing in our friend group. So a lot of people would confronted them, and like, nothing came out of it. So we came to terms. Because of the stuff that was happening in our friend group, I stopped talking to a lot of my friends for a few months, but we started catching back up in, like, early March, if not late February, where we all started talking again. And we were kind of just talking about the whole situation with our friend group and how we weren't very happy with how it was going and how we just didn't really know what to do. So at some point we just decided to leave everything because we were kind of done with this friend. Like, it was so, it just kept happening and we weren't very happy with it. And when we left everything, the friend that was distancing themselves reached out to my other friend who left the groups with me and was like, hey, I noticed you left everything. I just want to say you're still like one of my closest friends and all that stuff. And it was a very sweet conversation, but again, it has been happening so long that we didn't feel like we wanted to remain friends. So of course, like, the person was like, oh yeah, it's fine, but I'm just not happy with how this happened and I don't want to continue being friends any longer. And it was all handled very maturely. It was a very mature argument, or not really argument, it was a very mature disagreement. After that whole discussion, they came to me, we were talking a little bit. I had any questions I had about why they left our friend group answered, and it was easy as that. It was a very, like, gentle falling out, and we made sure it, like, wasn't aggressive on any sides, and again, it was handled very maturely, but it did still take a very negative impact on quite a lot of us. So I've just been kind of trying to move on by focusing on other things. So what those things are, I don't know. I don't know, because, like, when I get upset about something, I don't really, I mean, I cry, but it's not like I'm gonna sit there spilling my tears out for hours. Hold on. Over something that upset me. If I'm upset about something, I just want to talk about it with people. So I go to people for advice. Like, I went to my mom. I was like, hey, this is happening in my friend group. Like, what should I do? And she was just like, you should just let it go. If they don't want to be friends with you, they don't want to be friends with you. And it's not your responsibility to make them be friends with you. And of course I understood that. And I think that was really, like, the turning point where I officially decided I was no longer going to associate like that with that person, because, again, my mother even told me what they were doing was wrong, but I can't force them to be friends with me if they don't want to. And I understood that completely, so I wasn't going to force them to be friends with me. And I think I came to terms with the fact we weren't going to be friends much longer months ago when they first started distancing themselves. So it didn't hurt as much as it probably should have. And it's not from, like, the fact that, like, I didn't care about them or anything. It's just from the fact that I've known this was coming for a long time. And it just, the fact that it finally happened, of course, like, did something to me, but I was the one who initiated our friendship breaking apart. And I guess I was able to just, like, come to the personal decision that I was ready for that, and I think I was. I really think that it was a mature situation on all sides, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't really cry about stuff. Like, I mean, I do, like, if I get really overstimulated, I'll start crying, but this didn't really overstimulate me. It was a very controlled environment, so I wasn't too overstimulated, so I didn't really cry. I kind of just, like, I don't even know how I handled it. It was a lot. I think, honestly, the way I think I handled it was just, like, distancing myself from people associated, I guess. Because, like, again, I was on that long mental health break for a while. And this stuff happened during my mental health break, actually. So a lot of this stuff was jam-packed into that mental health break. So it was kind of very interesting mental health break, because it did not feel like a break at all. It was constantly stuff was happening. And at some point, I think I realized I needed to stay on top of what I was doing, and I could probably not be taking breaks for multiple months at a time, because I do have jobs and responsibilities, especially online. And I know while these jobs and responsibilities probably aren't, like, that serious, they're serious to me and they matter a lot to me. Like, R&I, my club, is very important to me, and I was putting off a lot of stuff because I was on break, so I wasn't attending a lot of stuff. And since we are working on our routine, that reflected very negatively on the club, because absences are really rough in the club, and I was not the only one who's been inactive. And I do know that I probably should have stepped up and started attending more when I realized other people weren't. But it's okay, and I do regret it, and I wish I had been there for my club, because that is like my responsibility. But I can't really change the past, but I am hoping I can make up for it by making sure I'm active for the next few months following. It depends though, because I do have a couple trips planned during the summer, so inactivity may be inevitable, but hopefully it shouldn't be as long as this inactive period was. I don't know. It was a whole spiel I'm not going to get into, but there's, I was not prioritizing a lot of stuff that I should have been prioritizing, and I guess that's just the way I'm going to sum up that whole break. Is that I should probably have not taken the break. I did need it, but I don't know if I needed it badly enough to have, like, been able to put aside what I needed to for that long. I don't know. It's really hard to word how I feel about it, because I do know, that R&I has, what's the word? The activity requirements, and you're not allowed to be on leave for very long to prevent people from just sitting on leave and not being expected to go to things. But I was definitely abusing it. I mean, I had a very valid reason to be abusing it. I had a lot going on in my life that, again, I still can't state the main gist of why I went on break, but it was, I should have done it, so I guess that's a regret I will have for a little while. I think this is where I'm going to end the video off. I got my horse up one level. I might be cooked. Okay. But yeah, that was kind of the update about my life and what I've been up to. I haven't even gone through half this bowl of ramen. I've been too busy talking the whole time, but yeah, it's kind of just a life update. I don't really know what else to say. Maybe I'll have a good one. I will hopefully start posting more videos soon. I don't really know. I want to make this a weekly thing, if I can. Maybe I'll just start recording when I do reputation quests, because I start talking about some really random nonsense during reputation quests, and it gets really funny. So, yeah, I may have to cut some parts of the video out, because I probably was yapping a lot about stuff I should not have been saying, and I tend to do that a lot, but it is okay. So for now, this is going to be Aries signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video. You might not have been super entertained, but I was pretty entertained, so I think that's it's a pretty big part of this. So have a good one.